Hi, I'm Bruce Carton, and I'm here with John Stark. And today we will preview panels 3 and 4 of Incident Response Forum 2020. This year, Incident Response Forum will be a virtual event held on Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. Welcome, John.
Thanks, Bruce.
So this is a full day of panels. You can watch them at home on your own computer or device. It'll be focused solely on the field of incident response and data breaches, as always. And it's geared specifically for attorneys and compliance professionals. And I'm very pleased to say I saw we have over 500 people registered already.
Excellent, excellent.
So we've been approved for at least 6 hours of CLE in a large number of states, including most of the big ones like New York, California, Texas, Virginia, and many others. So John, we already hit on the first two panels in the last video we did. Can you give everybody a preview of panels 3 and 4?
Sure, real quick. One of the things we're doing, Bruce, this year that's a little different is we're focusing on the subject matter a little bit more of particular cyber crimes. So this panel is on business email compromise, or BEC. We also have a panel on ransomware. And I think based on the feedback last year and based on the growth of these two particular cyber crimes, it's important to give them both their own panels. And we've really got an all-star group for the BEC panel, starting with Tony Kim, who will be the moderator. He's a partner in Oric's cyber privacy and data innovation practice. He's really one of the top C-suite advisors of all the lawyers that you'll hear from today. He's got a very large global practice. And he's also on the executive committee of Oric, which means he's been dealing with COVID-19, not just for his clients, but for his firm as well. Next up, we've got Allison Bender. It's her first time ever at the Incident Response Forum. She's counsel at Wilson Sonsini and spent nearly a decade at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, most recently serving as a senior cybersecurity attorney in the Office of General Counsel. I believe she spoke on the West Coast, right, Bruce?
Yeah, she was in LA with us, and she was terrific.
Excellent. We've also got Michael D'Ambrosio from the Secret Service, who's Director of Cyber for their Office of Investigations. He's responsible for not only execution on investigations, but also training. And he's just terrific. I think the Secret Service has played a bigger and bigger role in these kinds of schemes in particular, which the key here is to sort of stop the flow of the money and hopefully get it back from your clients. And that's what this panel is going to talk about. The last person on the panel is Nicole Freelander. She's also brand new to the forum, but she's not brand new to cyber. She's co-head of the cybersecurity practice at Sullivan and Cromwell, and she came to Sullivan from the Southern District of New York. And her cybersecurity experience includes leading the successful indictment of Iranian state-sponsored hackers for coordinating cyber attacks on 46 different financial institutions. So again, what we wanted to do with this panel, Bruce, was bring as many people with financial expertise as we could.
Yeah, I think Nicole's, all of them, but I think Nicole's Southern District and financial experience will be a great fit.
Excellent.
So that's a great update on panel 3. Now, panel 4 is called Managing the Insider Threat in the World of Cyber, which is kind of a unique panel for this conference. Give us a little bit of information on panel 4.
Yeah, there's really two things about this panel that make it different than anything we've ever done before. Number one, it's about the insider threat exclusively, which is, I think, pretty common in most data breaches, where you're working on the breach response and you suddenly think, could this be an insider? Could this be a bad lever? And the holistic approach of investigations really requires you to think that way. And on this panel are 4 people who specialize in this. But secondly, what's different is we have Udijit Bhattacharjee, who's author of the New York Times bestseller about famed U.S. trader Brian Regan. And it's called the book he wrote is called The Spy Who Couldn't Spell. And Regan was an Air Force Master Sergeant convicted of espionage and is currently serving a life sentence. And the investigators, the federal investigators who put him away, were Gary Walker and Brett Padres, who were both on this panel as well. Walker is now a vice president of Omni Systems, Inc., but Gary began his career with the U.S. Air Force and served in the Security Forces Command and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, which is kind of like the Navy SEALs of the Air Force. That's where Brett worked as well. And Brett is now the CEO of Crypsis, who also worked on the investigation of Brian Regan. And he's also grown Crypsis quite dramatically since the start of this conference. And if you want to know what Steve Jobs or Bill Gates sounded like in their early years, you really have to listen to Brett. So he's terrific to have on this panel. And then, of course, Ashton Fine is going to be the moderator. He's a partner at Covington and Burling, and for 13 years he worked, was in the U.S. Army, first as a military intelligence officer, and later as a lawyer in the Judge Advocate General's Court, the JAG Court. He served as the lead trial attorney, by the way, in the prosecution of Private Chelsea Manning. So this panel, we really have some experts at rooting out insider fraud, insider problems, and they can also share it in the context of an actual event.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a great book, and I think it'll be a really interesting panel. So terrific. So that's panel 3 and 4. The website and the link to register for the conference are in the notes accompanying the video. John and I will be back previewing some other panels in the coming days, but please stay tuned and we'll see you soon. Thank you.